Welcome to your ATM unit review. This is over linear functions, and this video will cover page 1. Let's begin. A pumpkin begins with a circumference of 2.5 inches and grows 4 inches per week. Write an equation to represent the scenario. Then name and describe the components of that equation. Well, if you'll notice, the pumpkin continues to grow. The circumference continues to grow 4 inches per week. Your 4 inches per week is going to be your ray, and the week is going to be your x value, your independent value. But it begins with this circumference. This is the starting point, so this is your B. From that, you can write your equation. Y equal 4x plus 2.5. Okay, let's label our variables. What are our variables? Your variables are your x, which is representing the week, and your y, which represents the total circumference. Oop, let me spell correctly. Of a pumpkin. Your parameters is the change. So therefore, your m, which is 4, represents the rate of change per week. And your B is 2.5, which represents your beginning circumference. From this information, you are going to make a graph, okay? Make sure you give a title, a label, and your scale. Based on this graph, you are going to describe the characteristics to me. So let's start off with a title. You can title anything you like that has to do with a scenario. So I'm going to just call it C of pumpkin. How's that? And since your X represents the week, I am going to put the week here. This is always your origin, 0, 0. Okay? And since it grows 4 inches per week, I'll just go ahead and label each one of these to be 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, going all the way to 10. Your y is going to be your total circumference. Do not forget your units, and this is measured in inches. Okay? And if you take a look, it starts off at 2.5. So I'm going to start 2.5 right there. Add yourself a little breaker. And then I'm going to increase it by 4 inches per week. So 2.5 plus 4 is 6.5 plus 4. Oh, excuse me. Okay. I need to go get a calculator that works. All right, just hang on a moment. 2.5, 4.5. We're going by 4. I'm so sorry. 2.5, 6.5, 10.5, 18.5, plus 8, 26.5. I think that's plenty. Okay? All right. Now, you don't have to have your numbers all bunched up. So, let's go ahead and start graphing. At the beginning, we start at 0.1. In the first week, increase it by 4. In the second week, increase it by 4. Third, as you can see, you have a linear equation. Just like so. And it does continue on, okay? Now, there is limitation. That limitation is eventually the pumpkin's going to stop growing, but we're going to set that aside since we are studying linear. Alrighty? Now, based on our information, let's take a look. Your domain goes from left to right. Far left. How far left did I go on the x value? 0 week. That's the beginning. It's going to continue all the way to positive infinity. Okay? Your range starts at 2.5. That's our beginning. And it's going to keep growing. We're going to set aside our limitation. Your limits. Let's take a look. This is your left limit. Okay? As I am going toward the negative, negative infinity, positive infinity, negative infinity, positive infinity, we will always write limit as x is approaching negative infinity. See how it's going this way? it is also going down, but there is something that's keeping it from going all the way down, and that floor is at 2.5 inches. That's as low as it's going to go. Your limit on the right, as x is going toward the positive, so it's going this direction, these guys will always be the same. You have to determine if it's going up or down. As I'm going to the right toward the positive, it is also going up. And what is up? Up is positive infinity, which is north. Okay? Your x-intercept, well, in this case, if we really wanted to find our x-intercept, we would plug in 0 and solve for it. But since we are doing application, this one does not have an x-intercept. Your y-intercept is crossing the y-axis at 0, 2.5. You're increasing, okay? Where are you increasing from? Interval increasing. I am going all the way across. As I'm going from left to right, it is continually increasing. So it's increasing from 0 to positive infinity. Decreasing. This graph left to right is not decreasing, so this does not apply. Okay. Interval positive. This is everything above your x-axis. So let's take a look. See, I have my graph above the x-axis, but you always write your x value, okay? So where do you see it above the x-axis? From 0 to infinity. Do you guys see anything below the x-axis? Well, if there's nothing below, this does not apply. So everything here is according to this graph, and this graph is according to your equation. All right, let's go ahead and answer some questions, okay? Number 4. If the pumpkin is pulled from the patch in 9 weeks, notice your x is equal to 9. What is its circumference? What will be its circumference? Well, let's plug into our equation. Y equal 4 times 9 plus 2.5. Okay? So what do you have? That's 36 plus 2.5. So when f of x is 9, you can write it just like so. It comes out to be 38.5 inches. Your value x is 9. That's what that means. Okay? On number 5, it says, how long will it have to have grown to win the blue ribbon at the fair? Now, 112 inches is your y. Okay? So you want to know how long, so you want to know what that x value is. So 112 is equal to 4 times x plus 2.5. And then you solve for x. How do you solve for x? Minus 2.5 minus 2.5. Let me do this on a calculator real quick. 112 minus 0.5 comes out to be 0.5. 109 is equal to 4x. Okay? All right, divide by 4, and x comes out to be 27.375. This is how long. So if it was 27 weeks, that's not big enough. So we need to say 28 weeks. Round properly. Round according to your question, please. This is an application class. All right, on number 6. Across what interval is the model used for? Mark that section in a different color. Okay, so let's take a look. Across what interval is the model used for? Let's take a look. Now, our domain will be useful, right? It will keep going until what week? Right here. If we were wanting the blue ribbon, we would go from 0 to 28. Okay? Oops. Approximately 28 weeks. Your range. Well, I start at 2.5. How high is this going to go? Well, if I want it to be 112 inches, so I can win the blue ribbon, then I would say 112. Because the goal of this whole scenario is I want to win the blue ribbon at the fair. Otherwise, you're just going to eat it. Okay? But we're just trying to see how it grows. After about 28 weeks, it'll probably quit growing. and it'll probably start to rot and die or something like that. All right, guys, good luck on your tests.